Hello and welcome to Automate Office Work, the show that helps you get started with automating your office work. I'm your host, Justin, a tech savvy lawyer. I started on the same journey you are on, and I'm here to help you. Today's episode is automating people stuff. You can find the content for today's show at an article at automateofficework.com/people. This show is a podcast, a YouTube channel, and a LinkedIn live event every Friday. Welcome to our live audience on LinkedIn. Feel free to leave comments on LinkedIn during the show. I'll also try to leave time at the end to invite anyone who wants to come on and chat. So today's topic is people, and people are very important. According to my article here, people are first. We use automation to empower individuals. Ultimately, automation is about the people. The goal isn't just to improve processes or reduce workloads. It's to make life easier for individuals, enabling them to focus on what truly matters. By automating repetitive and mundane tasks, we create space for creativity, innovation, and meaningful work. This journey begins the moment someone joins your company, department, or team. So, what automations can you implement to make onboarding seamless and welcoming? I've got some ideas for you. We're going to go over all of these different areas that can be triggered when a person joins your company, your department, or your team. Some of them, well, most of them, I've already built automations and systems and platforms. So I might show a little bit of them to you today. But today is really just a high level overview of the kinds of things that are possible. To really go into in depth into some of these tools and platforms would require often its own episode for each tool. So we might do that in the future, go over some specific tools that are interesting for you. But today's discussion is just kind of a high level overview. Also, I'm going to be going for about 20 minutes, I think, to cover all this topic. Anybody in the LinkedIn the audience, feel free to post comments, questions, and if you want to, we can bring you on and you and I could have a chat as well. And I'll try to leave plenty of time, about 15 or 20 minutes in. We'll leave time so that anybody who wants to can come on and have a chat with me. I'll also try to explain and describe anything that I'm showing with words. Just paint a picture so that our audience that's listening on audio podcasts can get the full enjoyment from just the spoken word. But also, if you want to, the show is also available on LinkedIn and live, or LinkedIn and YouTube with a video format. So it might be enjoyable also to see what I'm talking about. All right. So think about the different kinds of things that happen when a person joins a company. They're all different kinds of things that are triggered that need to be done to get that person set up. And think about back to your own experience when you first joined a company. What was it like your very first day? Was there chaos? Did everyone expect you to show up? Were there any surprises? Like the person at the entrance to the building, did they not even know that you were showing up and they didn't have a key card for you, right? There's so many different things, like having your laptop and your equipment ready, being welcomed by your team, having something to do your very first day. Maybe a list of tasks or a list of people to be introduced to. Was there material? Was there training material so that you could learn about the different systems that you would be using? All of these different things, they can really make the process much smoother for everybody involved, but especially for that new person, because the very first day is quite the impression. You know, we want to show this person that we care about them. We are taking care of things for them, and they're coming to a great company that will be a great place for them to work. Okay, so any kind of investment you can put into these kinds of automations, it really helps. It really makes a difference in just the experiences of people joining your company. All right, so we've got about 12 different Areas that can be places to trigger automations when a person joins a company. The very first one, and it's kind of obvious and maybe even the most simple, is a welcome email. A welcome email. Send a personalized email to welcome the person to the team and outline their very first steps. Let them know, uh, like maybe even a pre-welcome, like how to get into the building, how to get to the building, where their desk is located, how they can go pick up their equipment if it hasn't already been mailed to their house, I guess, because obviously you're going to have a way to get the email to them as well. So they've got some kind of a device at first, right? But maybe you want to give them some instructions for how to get the rest. The next one is onboarding resources. These are things like links to essential documents, training modules, FAQs, video tutorials. Your department might already have these kinds of resources, or they might be scattered around. You might think about putting them all in one place. You might have like some general resources for everybody in the department, and then you might have individual resources like for specific teams, right? So I would recommend that in the onboarding resources, at a minimum, you have like some kind of a welcome from your department head who says like, welcome, we're glad to have you on our team. You've joined a good place. And maybe where they give some kind of a message about the broad strategy, the goals of the department, where they see things going. Um, I would then have some kind of a directory of like all the different teams that exist inside your department, and just have a short introduction. Even just a list of the names of these teams is already a huge advancement over what I've seen in previous companies. Just to know the different teams that exist in the department. Maybe a short sentence describing what they actually do, because names don't always get across, that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, and then you might have what I would recommend is that you also have personalized resources for people that are joining those teams. So you'd have like a general description, like a one or two sentences about that team, but then you'd have like another tab or a link that says like, if you are joining our team, here are the resources we would like for you to see. And then when you click on that resource, you would learn a little more in depth about that team, maybe the major things that they do, the tools that they use, and maybe the people that they serve. So, like if you are, say, you're joining a team that supports the IT department, it might be nice for them to tell you this is the head of the IT department. This is the person that we liaise with. This is their communications person or whoever. Okay, and just so that they have a little bit of information. Next is number 3, account setup. Automatically create accounts for tools such as email, collaboration platforms like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and project management tools that you use. Okay. Yeah. So any kind of accounts that this person has to go get, you can automatically trigger it probably when they join the company. So let's go back a little bit. How do you know when a person joins a company? You might have them added in some kind of an HR directory like Workday. You definitely know that they have joined when their email address exists. And so I have an automation that runs. Well, I've done this in the past. An automation that runs every week or every day, and it looks at the top person in my department, and it looks for their direct reports. And then it cycles through each of those direct reports looking for their direct reports, and then their direct reports, and their direct reports, and so on, until we have like all the hundreds of people inside the department. So now we've created a list. You can save this to like a text file on your SharePoint, and you can then have this list that is regenerated every time, And at the end of it being generated, you don't just save the new copy, but what you do is you compare it to the previous list. And this will show you the people that are new to the list and the people who were removed. So we'll talk about removals of people later, but getting this list of people who are new, now you can trigger all these different things that need to be done for this new person. Okay, you can go add them to all of your different systems, give them accounts, give them security access, whatever. And that goes right along with number 4, that is org chart updates. Org chart updates, you can instantly add them to the department's org chart with their title and their contact details. Um, that's specifically why I created this automation first, was to automate the maintenance of an org chart. I do have an org chart. I'll show it a little bit on my screen. I'll go to sites/legal/org chart for mine. So this is a SharePoint page, sites/legal/org chart. And this is generated. It's updated every Monday, and it goes exactly like I talked about. But it now it generates a view of the entire department in an org chart structure on a SharePoint page. And so I can scroll all the way across and see everybody. My organization is only 3 levels deep, and I've got a total of 19 people on here. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that you should be triggering. You should be adding people. The updating an org chart should not be a manual thing. In my previous organizations, they always struggled with these org charts because it wasn't automated. It was a manual thing that somebody did like once every 6 months, and they would email it out as a PDF. And then the next day, this is out of date. The people have left, new people have come, and your org chart is incorrect for 6 months. So yeah, I created an automation that does this. All right, along with creating an org chart, you might create a profile for the new person. Create a space where they can share a short bio, some interests, or some fun facts about themselves to help colleagues get to know them, and vice versa, they can get to know their new colleagues. So on my org chart, if I click on, say, my own little card, it opens up, there it is. I clicked, it opened a new card, and there was a link to a bio. And I clicked on my bio, and it goes to my bios tool. It shows my biography and all the interesting facts that I would like to share with my colleagues. It makes it much more human when you do get to know people. Say, before the introductions, before meeting a new person, you can go read their biography. Learn some interesting things about them, where they grew up, where they went to school, their favorite hobbies, their favorite movies, whatever they want to share. It makes you a little bit more human. And then when you finally do meet them, the ice is broken, as they say. I could then say to this person, you know, we both have the same taste in music, or we both have the same favorite vacation spot, or whatever it is. We get to bond over some kind of a common interest, and then the business meeting with them next is it's at a different level. You know, we're both human beings, and we know each other just a little bit more. Okay, so I would highly recommend creating that kind of a space for your team. Number 6 is access permissions. You can automatically grant them access to restricted resources such as shared drives, internal tools, or specific project folders. I did this specifically for SharePoint. You know, there were often resources that we wanted only to be accessible by lawyers. Who are the lawyers? You can't tell by looking at Outlook. You know, it's not in your title or whatever. And that list of lawyers changes all the time. But you know how we already captured it by looking at everybody underneath my department head. he was the top lawyer. So we determined everybody under him should have access, and they're called lawyers. So we had these access groups in SharePoint, I believe they're called. An access group is created, and then normally you would have to go manually add people and remove people. So what I did was I created part of my automation with creating that text file with everybody that's in the department. We then everybody that was new, like the 6 or 10 people that were new that week, we would apply them to all of these different access groups that were specified as lawyers. So I just had to ask everybody, give me a list of all of your different SharePoints where you need this group. They're called lawyers, they're called legal department members, whatever you're calling that group. We had to apply it to every single one of those groups. Just tell me the name of your group and I will apply. I'll add these new people and remove the old people as well. Okay, we might go into some more about that later in a later episode. Number 7 is mailing lists. You can add the new person to a team, department, and company-wide mailing lists and allow their manager to customize subscriptions. So you know how like we have this challenge when you're emailing inside a very, very large department and your boss says, email all the product lawyers this email. Well, how do I get that list of people? There is no maintained list of these people. So I created a tool called Mailing Lists. Perhaps I'll share it briefly. Mailing lists. It looks like a spreadsheet where every person in the department is a row, and then all of these different characteristics that you would want to filter these people by. You have check boxes that are checked in their cell at the intersection of these rows and columns. So I can click on, say, I want to select everybody who's outside the US, and I want to do everybody who is in compliance. And do I have any? No, there are no IP people in compliance. Maybe I say also I only want the people that are in the various regions. I guess they're over a region of work. So I do that, and I scroll up a little bit. I've got a text box that is filled in with every single person that matches this. So what this requires is that somebody has to go when there's a new person and check the boxes of the characteristics that apply to them. You might have the new person do it. You might trigger a task to the manager because the manager is in a good spot. They know the person that they're hiring. They know what kind of emails they want their new person to be receiving. This just helps communication so much. Okay, let's see if I can go a little bit faster through this. Number 8 is a department announcement. What about sending a department-wide or even a company-wide email introducing the new person, including their role, their background, and maybe a fun fact about this person? Number 9 is manager preparation. Automate a reminder to the manager with tips for onboarding the new hire effectively, including a checklist for the first week. Okay, so in addition to this new person, maybe the manager needs a little bit of help also. We can certainly help them and help them to be a good manager. Number 10 is IT setup. We could trigger tasks for the IT team to prepare their workspace, like assigning a laptop, setting up software, and provisioning other hardware or tools. You know, the worst thing is when you arrive at a company and your manager says, okay, go to IT and get your stuff. You go to IT and IT says, we didn't receive a ticket about this. We had no idea you were coming. We need approval from your manager. And then you find, oh, manager forgot. So you can help the manager do their job by perhaps triggering these and just automating that. 11, a first day calendar events. Automatically add key events to the person's calendar, such as orientation sessions, team introductions, or training day. And number 12, a buddy system. You could assign a mentor or onboarding buddy from the team and notify both parties with guidance for their initial interactions. So this is just some of the few examples, but there's no limit to what you can automate. The more thoughtful your onboarding process, the smoother the transition for new members, and the better their first impression of your organization. But what happens when someone leaves your company, your department, or team? This too is a critical moment where automation can simplify and streamline tasks. Automations for offboarding. All right, so once you get your onboarding down, there's a whole other world on the flip side of offboarding when a person leaves. Number one, send a goodbye email. Send a farewell message acknowledging their contributions, wishing them well. Number two, a feedback survey. Include a link to an exit survey to gather their insights on how the team or department can improve. Number three, account deactivation. Shut down their accounts for tools such as email, collaboration platforms, internal systems to maintain security. Number four, org chart updates. Remove them from the org chart and adjust reporting structures as needed. Number five, profile removal. Delete or archive their biography/profile information from internal directories. Number six, access permissions. Revoke access to restricted resources such as shared drives, internal tools, or project folders to ensure data security. Number seven, mailing lists. Remove them from the team, department, and company-wide mailing lists to keep communication channels current. Number eight, department announcements. Depending on their role, send a department or company-wide email announcing their departure and expressing gratitude for their contributions. Number nine, knowledge transfer. Trigger a task to gather and document important knowledge or ongoing project details to ensure a smooth handoff to other team members. Number 10, equipment return. Notify the departing employee to return company-provided devices and trigger a task for IT to collect and reset them. 11, final pay and benefits. Automate notifications to HR to finalize payroll, benefits adjustment, and any other relevant paperwork. And 12, post-exit contact. Add them to a mailing list for alumni updates or job opportunities, if applicable, to maintain a positive relationship. How many of these tasks does your organization already perform? Are they done manually? If so, consider the time, effort, and consistency that could be improved through automation. By automating these processes, you ensure a smooth and professional experience for employees during key transitions. Not only does this save time for HR and managers, but it also reinforces your organization's commitment to its people. Because at the end of the day, automation is about making things better for the humans behind the work. And what steps will your company take today to create a more seamless and human-centered experience for your team? All right, so that's it for my prepared content. Let's see if there are any comments on LinkedIn. If there's anybody who would like to come on. I do not see any comments, although I do see a couple of attendees. I hope everybody's enjoying this content. All right, let's see if I can invite people to come on to StreamYard if anybody would like to have a chat. Okay, anyone who would like to come on live today, go to https://jagYWY73DU. Let's see if I can place this kind of a comment. All right, I did put a space between the slash and then the string of characters and numbers. Because in previous weeks, if I put them together, LinkedIn said it was not an okay URL. Okay, so just go to streamyard.com/ and then that string of letters and numbers. We'll see if anybody comes on. All right, so we've got a couple minutes. If anybody does not come on, maybe I can talk a little bit about, is there anything else that I should say? Yeah, several of these I created in my previous projects. Yeah, the welcome email is very easy because you have the list, your current list of people, and then you compare it to the previous one, and you get two different lists. You get people who've joined, people who are added, and people who are removed. You can easily send welcome emails, and including onboarding resources. You can send them a link to a specific website or maybe a Teams channel that is specifically set up with onboarding resources. Setting up accounts. Yeah, that might be a little bit more intense. You might need to have access to like APIs to be able to create users in different outside systems. Doing it on like Microsoft is fairly easy because a lot of my tools with like triggering these and the automations are already in the Microsoft environment. But then for something else like we had an outside vendor that listed all of our like company legal entities, and everybody wanted access to be able to see the list of all the legal entities and to see the current list, right? So that's a prime example of just easily creating an account for everybody as they come on. Um, get rid of the manual work of having to create all these accounts for everybody. Um, org chart updates. Yeah, I showed that. A profile setup. Yeah, I showed my bios. Um, Again, when a person leaves, we can have the biography just immediately like wiped off, so it's deleted, so that we don't keep their personal data past them leaving the company. Access permissions. I talked a little bit about that. I guess I could show it on a later one. Mailing lists. I showed that a little bit. That could easily be its own episode later. But yeah, mailing lists are a really big challenge for a lot of organizations. You know, even if your boss was to say, send an email to everybody in the department. Well, if you have a big department of like 500 people and it's constantly changing every time, how do you send an email to everybody? In uh, Normally you'd have to go around like Outlook or Workday and just compile a list of everybody. You have to go clicking around, seeing like a two-person chain, a person and their manager, or a manager and then their reports under them, and you have to just like compile a list manually. In my mailing lists program, I do keep the manager employee chain. So like if I was to click on somebody like, let's say, Armando Grant, it shows the chain from him to his manager and then the top person in the department. So we do have that chain, and I could just say like I'm gonna unclick some of these so we have a blank list. But if I just say add all accounts and I do that, there we go. I have every single person. It should be like 19 people. Yeah, I've got 19 people. I could also say instead, um, let's get the direct reports of someone, or let's say not just direct reports, but all reports. And I'm going to add this person, and it's going to ask what is the email address of this person. Let's see if I can do like an Anna Nix and calculate that. All right, these are everybody who reports up into her, even the indirect reports. Uh, so yeah, I wish the Outlook had something like this. I'm surprised that something so basic as this, it's not possible to do in Outlook for some reason. But by creating your own, you, it's kind of like getting ready and having your data all in a row, so that when people do need to go take an action, it's already ready and they can take the action right then and there, instead of spending an hour or two going around clicking, manually updating, seeing who joined the company, who left. Because otherwise, if my boss or the department was to say to me, Justin, we need you to send an email to everybody, My first, or a normal person's first response would be, okay, let's go to the previous email where they emailed everybody and let's just reply all because it's so much easier. Well, your list of people you're emailing is off. You're going to miss the people who joined since that email was last sent, and it's going to include people who left. So your email's off. There needs to be a better way of doing this. And yeah, so I think we really should do an episode about this mailing list tool. All right, let's see. I have no comments. Wait, I have a comment in LinkedIn. No, looks like it's a comment for next week. All right, so next week we are going to have a guest on. His name is Jonathan Williams, and he works for a legal tech kind of a newer AI company. It's Leia.ai. And he and I found that we have a lot of common interests. We love chatting with each other, and we decided we need to have a chat online and record because it's going to be interesting. It's our thoughts, our opinions about the future, specifically of legal work, but a lot of it is going to have connections to just general office work as well. The future of work, where we see it going, especially with the developments of AI, and what you can do to prepare for it. All right. So my name is Justin, Justin Turman. I am a tech savvy lawyer. I worked as a corporate lawyer for 10 years, but I studied computers and linguistics before that. So as I worked as a lawyer, I went around and I started automating everything. So you'll see a lot of my interests are around just automating all the administrative work, all the work that needs to be done, and we can get computers to do it instead of using people to do it. You can find me on my website, automateofficework.com. Let's see. I do offer consulting and solutions and education kinds of services. You can find all of the podcast episodes. Today is number 12, which you can find on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. I have all kinds of free resources for you if you want to step up your game with automating or even just implementing technology. People have asked me for lessons on how to start getting into the space, how to start programming and coding. I do have some of those lessons for you. I do have a book for thinking like a programmer. So if you are just a normal person sitting at a computer, how do you start thinking in this way with systems and processes? I've got that for you. And then I've got all kinds of articles that are coming out nearly daily on different subjects that are of interest in this area. You can also find me on LinkedIn, quite active. You can follow me and reach out to me if you need anything. I've got a book a call button if you can use some extra help, or you can always come on to a future episode and we can have a live chat. All right. So with that, thank you everybody. I wish you a great day and happy automating.